The Earth Defense Council chamber fell silent as Lisa finished her presentation about the Kilvari Alliance. The large screen behind her displayed images of the alien station and the purple-ringed gas giant it orbited. 20 human leaders from various nations stared at her with mixed expressions of awe, concern, and disbelief. Admiral Kelly stood up first, her gray uniform crisp and formal. "You connected your mind to an alien neural network without authorization," she said, her voice sharp. With disapproval, "That decision was not yours to make." Lisa faced the Admiral calmly. "I made a judgment call. The Kilvari needed to trust us. The opportunity might not have come again." Dr. Amy Wilson, the lead xenobiologist, leaned forward. Her eyes, bright with excitement. "The neural parasite affecting the Kilvari sounds fascinating. From what you describe, it targets their logical processing centers. This could explain why they value our adaptive thinking." The room erupted in debate. Some council members argued for caution, others pushed for immediate implementation of the alliance. General Pat warned about potential military threats, while Trade Minister Kerry emphasized the economic benefits of alien technology. President Morgan raised her hand, silencing the room. "Lisa has brought us an unprecedented opportunity," she said. "Her decision in the field, while unauthorized, has opened diplomatic channels we never imagined possible. The question now is how we proceed." Lisa projected a new image onto the screen showing Kilvari medical technology. "This device alone can detect and treat cancer at cellular levels before symptoms appear," she explained. "Their medical technology is centuries beyond ours. In exchange, they ask for our help, solving their neural parasite problem." Dr. Wilson nodded eagerly. "Their biology is silicon-based, not carbon like ours. This might explain why the parasite affects them differently. Their logical processes are similar to our computers, highly structured, and orderly. Human brains are more chaotic, more adaptive. We might be naturally resistant." Admiral Kelly frowned. "But what happens when we solve their problem? Will they still need us then?" The question hung in the air 1 month later. Lisa stood in the newly constructed Kilvari embassy, a gleaming structure of curved metal and crystal on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. Nara, the lead Kilvari diplomat, had arrived with 5 other representatives. "Human scientists are making progress on understanding the neural parasite," Lisa explained as she guided Nara through the embassy. The building had been designed with taller ceilings and specialized environments to accommodate Kilvari physiology. "Dr. Wilson believes the parasite cannot affect human neural pathways due to our different brain chemistry." Nara nodded, her forearms moving in the graceful pattern that indicated pleasure. "Your Dr. Wilson has innovative approaches my scientists are impressed with her work." Lisa smiled, but noticed Nara seemed distracted. "Is something wrong?" Nara hesitated, an unusual behavior for the normally direct diplomat. "Some members of our council are growing concerned about increased human access to our technology. They fear your military leaders are too interested in our defensive systems." Lisa had noticed the same issue. Admiral Kelly and General Pat had pushed repeatedly for access to Kilvari shield technology and faster-than-light drive specifications. They claimed it was necessary for security protocols. "We have similar concerns about certain members of your military." Lisa admitted, "I can arrange a meeting with President Morgan to address these issues directly." Nara seemed relieved. The Kilvari valued transparency above most other virtues. That evening, Lisa reviewed the latest research reports from Dr. Wilson. The neural parasite had been isolated, and early tests showed promising results. Lisa felt a sense of accomplishment, but also worry. The alliance remained fragile. Her communication device chimed with an urgent message from the president. Dr. Wilson had requested an emergency meeting. Lisa arrived at the White House Situation Room to find President Morgan, Admiral Kelly, and Dr. Wilson in heated discussion. Wilson turned to Lisa with excitement. "We found something unexpected in the parasite samples. The neural parasite isn't natural. It's engineered." Lisa felt a chill. "What do you mean, engineered?" "Someone created this specifically to target Kilvari neural networks." Wilson explained, "It's a biological weapon." Admiral Kelly crossed her arms. "This changes everything." The Kilvari might be victims, but who created this weapon? And why? President Morgan looked grim. We need to share this with the Kilvari immediately but carefully. This information could destabilize their entire society. Lisa thought of Nara and the trust they had built. If someone was targeting the Kilvari, they might target their new human allies as well. Early the next morning, Lisa prepared to meet with Nara. Her apartment overlooking the Potomac River provided a view of the sunrise, but she had barely slept. The implications of an engineered neural weapon troubled her deeply. Her security detail waited outside 6 guards assigned by President Morgan. After the discovery, Lisa gathered her tablet containing the encrypted research findings. As she approached the door, she heard a soft, unusual sound from her kitchen. Lisa froze. The guards were outside, not inside. She reached slowly for the emergency signal device in her pocket. A tall figure stepped from the kitchen shadows, a Kilvari but not Nara. This one had darker skin with patterns Lisa had never seen before. "Do not signal your guards," the stranger said in perfect English without a translation. "Device, I have information about the neural parasite. Your scientists discovered its true nature. I am here to explain why it was created." Lisa kept her hand near the signal device. "Who are you?" "I am Vela," she said. "I represent a faction within Kilvari, society that opposes the council. The neural parasite was our creation." Lisa felt her blood run cold. "You created a weapon against your own people." Vela moved closer, her forearms in a position Lisa had never seen before. "Not a weapon," she whispered. "A cure." Lisa stared at Vela, trying to process her words. "A cure, not a weapon, that makes no sense. The parasite is harming your people." Vela gestured toward the living room. "Let me explain before your guards become suspicious." Lisa hesitated, then nodded, leading the unauthorized visitor away from windows. They sat across from each other, Lisa keeping the emergency signal within reach. "Our society was not always as you see it now." Vela began. "The Kilvari once valued creativity and emotional connection as much as logic 5. Centuries ago, a faction rose to power, the purists. They believed emotion clouded judgment. They developed neural technology to enhance logical processing and suppress emotional responses." Lisa leaned forward. "You mean they altered your people's brains? They called it evolution." Vela said, her voice bitter. "What you call a parasite is actually a countermeasure designed to disrupt the neural suppressors. The council calls it a disease because it interferes with their idealized logical processing. It restores our natural balance, but the process is imperfect." The implication stunned Lisa. The alliance, the medical technology, the entire diplomatic mission suddenly appeared in a different light. "Are you saying the council has been lying to us?" "Not entirely," Vela clarified. "They believe what they told you. They consider their suppressed state to be normal. The parasite does affect their thinking, but by restoring emotional processing, not damaging it. The disruption causes distress, because they have forgotten how to integrate emotion with logic." Lisa thought of Nara and her seemingly genuine concern for her people. "Does Nara know about this?" Vela shook her head. "Most council members were altered before they could form memories of our true nature. They cannot miss what they do not remember. But why reveal this to me now?" Lisa asked. "Your doctor, Wilson, is close to creating a permanent solution to the parasite." Vela explained. "If she succeeds, the purists will permanently lock our people into emotional suppression. We need her to understand what she is actually working on." Lisa checked the time. Her security detail would become suspicious. "Soon I need proof of what you're saying." Vela extended her lower right arm, offering a small crystal device. "This contains historical records from before the Purist Reformation and brain scans showing the neural suppressors. I ask that you share this only with those you trust." The door chimed. Lisa's security detail was growing concerned. "You must go," Lisa whispered. Vela moved to the balcony. With graceful precision, she scaled the wall, disappearing from view, just as Lisa opened the front door. "Everything okay, Mom?" asked Tina, the lead security officer, just reviewing some files before the meeting Lisa replied, slipping the crystal into her pocket. An hour later, Lisa sat alone in her office at the Human Kilvari Research Center, examining the contents of Velas crystal. The historical records showed a markedly different Kilvari society. Art, music, and literature flourished. The brain scans clearly indicated artificial neural structures precisely placed in emotional processing centers. Lisa faced an impossible choice. Revealing this information could destroy the Alliance, the medical. Technology alone would save millions of human lives. But continuing without disclosure meant participating in the suppression of an entire species. Her secure line blinked. Dr. Wilson. Calling, I found something strange, Lisa Wilson said without preamble. The parasite seems to be restoring neural pathways, not damaging them. It's like it's fixing something. I've discussed it with the Kilvari scientists, but they insist. In misinterpreting the data, Lisa closed her eyes briefly. Wilson's discovery independently confirmed Velas' claims. When can we meet privately? 3 hours later, Wilson arrived at Lisa's apartment, her eyes wide after viewing Velas' data. This changes everything. She whispered, Do we tell the president? We need to be careful. Lisa cautioned, the military already wants Kilvari technology. If they learn about neural manipulation technology, they might see strategic applications. Wilson nodded grimly. So what do? We find a third option? Lisa decided. The next morning, Lisa met Nara at the embassy gardens. The artificial environment created a reasonable facsimile of a Kilvari botanical sanctuary, with strange blue vegetation and mist fountains. Nara seemed troubled, her skin patterns shifting rapidly, a sign of distress. Our scientists report, Your Dr. Wilson has slowed her research. They worry she may have reached an impasse. Lisa chose her words carefully. Dr. Wilson has discovered some unexpected properties of the parasite. It seems to be restoring neural pathways, rather than damaging them. Have you ever wondered what your people were like before the parasite? Nara's forearms stiffened. Our historical records are clear. We have always valued logical processing. Lisa took a risk. The records I saw suggest otherwise. Nara's large eyes narrowed. What records carefully? Lisa showed Nara selected images from Velas crystal historical Kilvari art, depicting emotional scenes, ceremonies celebrating pair bonding family units with caregivers and offspring. Nara stared at the images, her skin changing to a deep blue Lisa had never observed before. Where did you get these? She whispered. A Kilvari who calls herself Vela. She claims the parasite is restoring your people's ability to process emotions. Nara sat completely still, a behavior Lisa had never witnessed in any Kilvari. I have dreams, she finally said, her voice so quiet, Lisa barely heard her. Dreams of creating art, of singing. These are considered processing errors, symptoms of the parasite. I take suppressants to stop them, Lisa felt a surge of hope. Then you can see there's more to this situation. Nara looked around, ensuring they were alone. These allegations are dangerous, Lisa. If true, they challenge the foundation of our society. If false, they could be considered insurgent. Propaganda, I understand, Lisa said. But Dr. Wilson independently confirmed the parasite appears to be restoring neural pathways, not damaging them. Nara rose suddenly. I must process this information. There are others in the council who have reported similar dreams. We believed ourselves infected, but perhaps Lisa took Nara's lower hand, a gesture of trust she had learned. We can find a solution together, one that helps your people transition. Safely, Nara squeezed Lisa's hand briefly before departing. That evening, Lisa received an urgent message from President Morgan. Admiral Kelly had convinced several council members to grant limited access to Kilvari defense systems. The exchange would happen tomorrow, bypassing normal diplomatic protocols. Lisa immediately called Dr. Wilson. We need to move faster, she said. The military is making their move. Wilson sounded breathless. I've been reviewing Velas data. The neural suppressors are tied to the Kilvari central governance system. Each Kilvari receives regular updates through their communication network. If we could introduce a modified version of the parasite through that network, we could potentially restore their neural patterns without the distressing symptoms. Can you create that? Lisa asked. I need more time, Wilson replied, and access to their central communication hub. Lisa made her decision. Tell no one. I'm going to speak with Nara. But before Lisa could reach her communication device, her apartment lights flickered and died. Outside her window, the entire block went dark. Then came a loud crash as her front door was forced open. Lisa moved quickly in the darkness, grabbing the crystal and her emergency bag. Hidden behind the couch, she watched as figures entered her apartment. Their movements were too precise, too coordinated for human intruders. Kilvari security forces. She escaped through the service passage, a route she had identified when first moving in. As a diplomat, she had been trained to always have exit strategies. The narrow corridor led to the building maintenance area and an emergency exit. Outside rain poured. Down, masking her footsteps, Lisa activated her secure communication device, sending an encrypted alert to Dr. Wilson. Compromised, going dark. She needed to find Nara, but the embassy would be watched. Lisa headed instead to their contingency meeting. Location: an old boathouse by the Potomac River. They had established several secure meeting points early in their diplomatic relationship, a standard protocol. The boathouse appeared empty when Lisa arrived, soaked and shivering. She waited in the shadows, watching for signs of surveillance. After 20 minutes, she slipped inside. Nara was already there, her tall form illuminated by soft blue light emanating from a Kilvari communication device. I feared you would not come, she said. What happened? Lisa asked. Your security forces raided my apartment. Nara shook her head. The council discovered my access to the historical records. They believe I have been compromised by the parasite. They did not authorize the raid. That was a separate faction. Within our security forces, loyal to Council Elder Tesalisa, processed this information. The Kilvari were fracturing into factions. I showed Dr. Wilson the data from Vela. She believes she can create a modified version of the parasite that would restore neural function without the disruptive effects that would be considered an act of war by the current council, Nara warned. But there are 7 council members, including myself, who have begun to question our neural suppression. 3 experienced symptom breakthroughs after extended contact with humans. Your emotional patterns seem to accelerate the parasite's effects. We need to act quickly, Lisa said. Admiral Kelly has arranged access to your defense systems. She plans to secure the technology, regardless of the diplomatic consequences. Nara stepped closer, her 4 hands moving in complex patterns. A deep purge has been ordered for those of us suspected of parasite influence. They will reset our neural patterns, destroying any progress toward emotional recovery. Lisa felt cold dread. What do you need from me? Bella's faction has a plan, Nara explained. They need access to our central communication hub on the diplomatic station to implement a modified parasite through the system, but they need Dr. Wilson to perfect the neural restoration sequence. Lisa nodded decisively. I will contact Wilson. We need to get her off planet before Admiral Kelly realizes what we're doing. Nara activated her communication device. 6 of my council allies have secured a transport vessel. They await us at your secondary spaceport as they prepared to leave. Lisa received an encrypted message from President Morgan. Admiral Kelly has moved against Dr. Wilson, claiming she has been compromised by alien influence. The doctor escaped, but military forces are searching for her. Lisa showed the message to Nara. Our window is closing, she said. They traveled separately to avoid detection. Lisa using public transportation and changing vehicles frequently when she arrived. At the small private spaceport outside Baltimore, Dr. Wilson was already there with 2 Kilvari. Lisa recognized as embassy medical staff. We brought the research and samples, Wilson explained, gesturing to secure containers. The military raided my lab, but we had already moved the critical materials. Lisa noticed Wilson looked exhausted but determined. Did you complete the modification? Wilson nodded. We created a prototype based on Velas data. It should restore emotional processing gradually, without the disruptive effects, but we need to test it. One of the Kilvari medics stepped forward. I have volunteered for the initial test. She said, My name is Suri. I already experienced breakthrough. Symptoms. Lisa turned to Nara. Is this safe? Nara gestured. Uncertainty. Nothing about this situation is safe, but the alternative is permanent neural suppression for our people, and likely conflict with yours. Once Admiral Kelly acquires our defensive technology. The Kilvari transport arrived silently, its stealth systems masking its approach from Earth defense systems. Lisa knew they were crossing a line. Leaving Earth without authorization during a diplomatic crisis could be considered treason, but the alternative meant betraying Nara and condemning the Kilvari to continued suppression. As they boarded, President Morgan sent another message. The situation has escalated. Admiral Kelly has convinced the Defense Council that the Kilvari are attempting mind control through the diplomatic exchange. She has mobilized the fleet. I am trying to maintain peace, but preparations for conflict have begun. Be careful, Lisa. I am trusting you to find a solution. The transport accelerated through Earth's atmosphere. Lisa, watching her home planet recede. Through the viewport, she could see defense satellites tracking their departure. Will they fire on us? She asked. Nara monitored the communication channels. They are issuing warnings, but President Morgan has temporarily blocked weapons authorization. We have a small window to reach the diplomatic station. In the vessel's medical bay, Dr. Wilson prepared to test the modified parasite on Suri. The Kilvari medic lay calmly on the examination platform as Wilson administered the treatment. This should integrate with your existing neural pathways, Wilson explained. It targets the suppressors specifically without causing the disruptive symptoms of the original parasite. The restoration should be gradual, allowing your mind to adjust. Suri closed her large eyes. I remember creating music as a child before my first neural adjustment. It was considered a processing anomaly and corrected. I have dreamed of those melodies ever since. Lisa watched as the treatment began. Suri's vital signs remained stable, her neural pattern shifting in ways Wilson monitored carefully. After an hour, Suri opened her eyes. I feel clarity, she whispered. Not disruption, but integration. I remember more from before the adjustments. Wilson looked cautiously optimistic. The initial response is promising, but we need to monitor for at least 12 hours. The transport approached the Kilvari diplomatic station. Lisa could see other vessels in defensive positions around the massive structure. Nara received a priority communication from her Council allies. They have secured the central hub, but Council Elder Teza has called for emergency purge protocols for all suspected of parasite influence. If implemented, it will reset the neural patterns of anyone showing emotional breakthrough. How many would that affect? Lisa asked. Nearly 20% of our population, Nara replied. All those who have begun to remember our true nature as they docked at the station. Emergency alerts sounded throughout the structure. Elder Teza has ordered your arrest, Nara warned. She claims humans have engineered the parasite as a weapon against Kilvari logic. Doctor Wilson looked up from monitoring Suri. That's insane. We just got here. Lisa realized the situation was deteriorating faster than they had anticipated. How long until we know if the treatment works? Wilson checked her instruments. 6 more hours minimum for conclusive results. We don't have 6 hours. Nara said, Elder Teza has activated defense protocols. The station will lock down in 30 minutes. All neural networks will receive an emergency purge. Signal. Lisa made a decision. We move now. We take what we have to the central hub. If Suri's treatment is working, we use it as proof to convince the other council members. Nara hesitated, then nodded. We will need to divide our forces. Some must protect Dr. Wilson and Suri while they complete the treatment verification. Others must secure the central hub until we're ready. Lisa checked the small defense weapon Nara had provided her. I never imagined our first diplomatic mission would end in revolution. Nara touched Lisa's shoulder with her upper right hand. It will end in restoration. Not revolution. We are simply becoming ourselves again. As they prepared to leave the transport, Lisa received one final message from President Morgan. Admiral Kelly has overridden my authority. The Earth fleet has been deployed. They will reach your position in 3 hours. Find a solution, Lisa, or we may be facing the first interspecies war. The diplomatic station corridors felt different now. Lisa moved alongside Nara and two Kilvari security allies loyal to their cause. The gleaming walls and ambient lighting that once seemed elegant now felt oppressive, knowing they concealed neural control systems. They split into two teams. Lisa and Nara would head to the council chamber to confront Elder Tiza, while Dr. Wilson and Suri continued monitoring the treatment in a secure medical bay, guarded by their allies. Be careful, Lisa said. As they parted, Dr. Wilson nodded grimly. Clutching her medical kit, Nara led Lisa through service corridors, avoiding main transit routes. Elder Tiza will have stationed loyal security forces throughout the primary sections. She explained, "We must use paths reserved for maintenance as they moved deeper into the station." Lisa noticed more Kilvari showing signs of the parasite. Their skin patterns flickered irregularly, and their movements seemed less precise, more fluid. Some looked at Nara with recognition, a silent acknowledgement. "They are awakening," Nara whispered. "More than I realized." They reached a security checkpoint where two Kilvari guards blocked their path. Their uniform insignias marked them as Tezas Elite. Unit Nara stepped forward, speaking in the Kilvari language. The guards responded with aggressive postures, their hands moving toward weapons. Lisa sensed the situation deteriorating. She stepped forward. "I request formal diplomatic intervention under Section 7 of our treaty." The guards hesitated. The treaty protocols were hardwired into station systems, overriding even security directives. One guard reluctantly activated the diplomatic passage protocol. The barrier slid open as they passed through. Nara looked at Lisa with newfound respect. "You remembered the diplomatic override?" Lisa smiled. "Treaty clauses are my specialty." They continued toward the central levels where the council chamber and neural network hub were located. Lisa's communication device chimed with an encrypted message from Dr. Wilson Suri showing complete neural integration treatment, confirmed successful, no adverse effects, proceeding to prepare distribution. Method Lisa showed the message to Nara. Hope kindled in her expression. "We have proof, now actual results." The council cannot ignore this. They reached the outer chamber of the council hall. Two of Nara's council allies waited there, their skin patterns showing agitation. Elder Tiza has called an emergency session. Council member Cora whispered. 6 members are present, but 3 are under heavy suppression. Their neural patterns were forcibly adjusted when they began showing breakthrough symptoms. Nara seemed troubled. "This violates our most basic governance laws." The other council member, Lena, gestured urgently. "The purge protocol countdown continues. We have 20 minutes before the station-wide signal." Lisa assessed their options. "We need to address the full council, present our evidence, and call for an immediate vote to cancel the purge." Nara agreed. "But Elder Teza controls access to the chamber." Lisa thought quickly. The diplomatic treaty included emergency provisions. Another treaty clause may help us. Article 12 allows for emergency diplomatic intervention during health crises. Lena activated her communication device, inputting the protocol code. The chamber doors remained sealed. "Tiza has overridden the diplomatic protocols," Cora said. Lisa felt a moment of despair, then noticed a maintenance access panel near the floor. "All stations have emergency override systems," she said. "Even council chambers." Nara followed her gaze. "You suggest we bypass security entirely?" Lisa nodded. "Sometimes the direct approach is best." While Cora and Lena created a distraction, Nara removed the access panel. Lisa crawled through the narrow tunnel designed for maintenance drones, Nara following with difficulty due to her larger size. They emerged behind the ceremonial artifacts display in the council chamber. Elder Teza stood at the center of the room, her aged purple skin glowing with authority. "The neural parasite threatens our very existence," she proclaimed. "We must implement the purge to save our people from their hidden position." Lisa could see the other council members. 3 showed signs of heavy neural suppression, their movements robotic, their skin patterns unnaturally static. The other 3, including Cora and Lena, who had just entered through the main doors, showed the subtle signs of parasite influence. More fluid movements. Variable skin patterns. We must wait for full council attendance, one member objected. There is no time, Tisa responded. The human fleet approaches. Their intentions are hostile. Lisa whispered to Nara. We need to show them. Suri, and the treatment results, Nara. Agreed, I will create a distraction. You connect Dr. Wilson's data to the central display as. Nara stepped dramatically from behind the artifacts, drawing all attention. Lisa slipped along the chamber's edge, reaching the neural interface terminal. She connected her device, uploading Wilson's treatment data and results. The central display activated, showing Suri's neural patterns before and after treatment. The results were undeniable. The modified parasite had restored natural neural pathways. Without disruption. The suppression technology was clearly visible in the before images, artificial structures embedded throughout the brain. What deception is this? Teza demanded. This is not deception, Lisa announced, stepping forward. This is restoration. Dr. Wilson has developed a treatment that safely removes the neural suppressors, allowing natural function to return. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Teza called for guards while the awakening council members studied the neural scans with growing awareness. Enough came a new voice. Vela entered the chamber, flanked by Suri and Dr. Wilson. All three showed signs of struggle, but remained defiant. Council members, Vela addressed the room. Look at Suri. See her clarity, her integration. This is not disease but healing. Suri stepped forward. I remember who we were, she said. Her voice musical, in a way Lisa had never heard from a Kilvari. I remember our art, our music, our connections. I can think logically and feel deeply. They are not opposing forces but complementary aspects of consciousness. The council members with breakthrough symptoms moved closer, examining Suri with wonder. Elder. Teza raised her communication device, activating emergency protocols. Purge sequence initiated, she announced. Station security engaged. Alarm signals blared throughout the chamber. Nara rushed to the central control console. The purge countdown had begun. 15 minutes remaining. Dr. Wilson hurried to join Lisa at the neural interface. This system is connected to the central network, she asked. Lisa nodded. We can input your treatment protocol, but someone needs to authorize it. Only a council elder can override the purge. All eyes turned to Teza, who stood defiant. I will never authorize this corruption of our people. Vela approached Teza, standing tall before her. They were not always like this, she said to Lisa. The elders were once our greatest artists, our most empathic leaders. The suppression took them first, because they had the most to lose. Teza backed away, her hands raised defensively. Your mind is corrupted by human influence. Dr. Wilson studied her medical scanner. Teza's suppression implants are the most extensive I've seen. They completely encase her emotional centers. Vela reached out, touching Teza's face in what Lisa recognized as an ancient Kilvari gesture of compassion. Remember, sister, she whispered. Remember who you were. For a moment, Teza froze. Then her skin pattern shifted rapidly, colors cycling through patterns Lisa had never seen. The elder collapsed to her knees. 4 of her council allies rushed to support her. 10 minutes remained on the purge countdown. One of the awakening council members approached the central console. I will authorize the treatment protocol. Council member placed all 4 hands on the interface panel, initiating the override sequence. A message appeared on the display requesting final confirmation. Teza rose shakily, her eyes fixed on the historical images. Vela had brought images of Kilvari, creating art, raising young, celebrating life. I remember, she whispered. She placed a trembling hand on the console, adding her authorization. The purge countdown stopped. Dr. Wilson's treatment protocol began uploading to the central network. Lisa received an urgent message from President Morgan. The fleet has arrived. Admiral Kelly demands immediate surrender of the station. Nara activated the communication system connecting to the approaching Earth vessels. This is Council Member Nara. We request immediate communication with President Morgan. The largest Earth vessel responded. President Morgan appearing on the central display. Lisa stepped forward. Madam President, we have resolved the situation. The Kilvari Council has approved Dr. Wilson's treatment. The neural suppressors are being safely removed. There is no threat to Earth. Admiral Kelly appeared beside the president. This is clearly alien manipulation. She insisted the Kilvari have compromised our representatives. President Morgan remained calm. Dr. Wilson, is this your treatment being implemented? Wilson moved into view. Yes, Madam President. The results are conclusive. The Kilvari were under neural suppression. The parasite was actually restoring their natural state. Our treatment improves, this process making it safe and gradual. The station trembled slightly as the treatment protocol spread throughout the network. Lisa watched in awe as the Kilvari around her began to change subtly. Their movements becoming more fluid, their communication more expressive, their skin patterns more variable. 1 year later, Lisa stood on the observation deck of the new joint Human-Kilvari Cultural Center built in orbit between Earth and Mars. The structure combined both species architecture with sweeping curves and practical angles blending function and beauty. The central gallery displayed artwork from both worlds. Side by side hung human paintings and Kilvari light sculptures. Earth music played alongside newly composed Kilvari harmonies that used tonal ranges humans could only partially hear. Dr. Wilson joined her at the viewport. Amazing what a year can bring, she said. Lisa nodded. The neural restoration had spread throughout Kilvari society. The transition had not been without challenges. Some Kilvari had struggled with the return of emotions after centuries of suppression, but most had embraced their restored nature with remarkable resilience. President Morgan and the new Kilvari Council, led by Nara, had formalized the alliance. The exchange of technology continued, but with greater emphasis on cultural understanding. Both species recognized the value in their differences. Lisa watched a group of human children interacting with young Kilvari. The humans teaching games while the Kilvari showed them how to create simple light patterns with special devices. Admiral Kelly had resigned after the incident at the diplomatic station. Her replacement, Admiral Susan Harris, had taken a more cooperative approach to interspecies relations. The greatest surprise had come from Elder Teza after her neural restoration. She had emerged as a powerful advocate for cultural exchange. The ancient elder had once been a renowned artist before the suppression. Freed from the implants, she began creating again, her work bridging the gap between species. Look, Lisa said, pointing toward the arrival bay. A special transport docked, disembarking a group of humans and Kilvari. The first joint exploration team preparing for their mission to a newly discovered solar system. Vela approached Lisa, her skin now permanently displaying the vibrant patterns that had once been considered signs of infection. The exploration team is ready, she said. We leave tomorrow, after the neural restoration. Vela had been appointed Director of Interspecies Exploration, her unique perspective, valued by both humans and Kilvari. Dr. Wilson checked her communication device. President Morgan sends her regards. She will attend the launch ceremony. Lisa felt pride in what they had accomplished. The path had been difficult, dangerous even, but the results exceeded anything she could have imagined. Nara joined them, her forearms carrying ceremonial garments for the event. Your new title becomes official. Today, she told Lisa, ambassador to the Kilvari Empire. Lisa smiled. The promotion had come. As a surprise, President Morgan citing her extraordinary diplomacy during the crisis. The station hummed with activity as final preparations were made for the ceremony. Humans and Kilvari moved among each other with growing ease. The initial awkwardness between species fading as they learned each other's customs. That evening, the central gallery transformed for the ceremony. Leaders from Earth and the Kilvari homeworld gathered to commemorate the alliance and launch the exploration mission. President Morgan addressed the assembly. 1 year ago, we faced the possibility of conflict. Today, we celebrate not just peace but partnership, not just coexistence but collaboration. Elder Teza stepped forward, her ceremonial robes flowing around her tall form. The Kilvari people are whole again, she announced. For centuries, we denied our true nature, believing emotion to be weakness. Now we understand that our strength lies in integration, logic and feeling, reason and intuition, structure and creativity. These are not opposing forces but complementary aspects of consciousness. Lisa watched as Teza presented a gift to President Morgan, a crystal sphere containing a living light sculpture that responded to the emotions of those nearby. The artwork represented the new Kilvari expression, beautiful and logical simultaneously. After the ceremony, Lisa found herself alone with Nara on the observation deck, Earth gleaming blue and white below them, the red dot of Mars visible in the distance. "Did you ever imagine this outcome when we first met?" Nara asked. Lisa shook her head. "In my wildest dreams I hoped for technological exchange, perhaps mutual defense agreements. I never imagined this level of cultural integration." Nara gestured toward the stars. "The exploration team will carry our shared knowledge further. Our scientists believe there may be other species out there, some perhaps still bound by their own limitations." Lisa considered this. The human Kilvari team's neural researchers had discovered something unexpected. The neural suppressors found in the Kilvari shared certain signatures with technology discovered in ancient ruins on Mars, ruins that predated human civilization by millions of years. "Some believe the suppressors were not our invention," Nara said quietly. "That perhaps we encountered them as your people might have if our paths had not crossed." The implication was chilling. Lisa had read the classified reports suggesting the Mars ruins contained technology that could have influenced human development if discovered before contact with the Kilvari. "Our greatest strength came from our difference from you," Nara continued. "Your people never developed our capacity for structured logical thought, but you never lost your emotional depth either. You remained integrated while we became fragmented." Lisa watched a shuttle depart for Earth, trailing lights against the darkness. "Perhaps that's the true value of contact between species," she suggested. "Not just sharing technology, but offering different perspectives, different paths." Vela joined them carrying a data crystal. The exploration team had completed final preparations. The joint mission would explore a system showing signs of artificial structures. "We detected energy signatures, similar to the neural suppressors," Vela explained. "This mission may discover their source." Lisa felt a familiar mixture of excitement and apprehension. The universe had just become larger and more complex. The Alliance faced new challenges, but also unprecedented opportunities. The next morning, Lisa stood with the gathered officials as the exploration vessel prepared for departure. The sleek ship combined human adaptability with Kilvari precision. Named Restoration, it represented everything they had accomplished together. Dr. Wilson had joined the mission, her expertise in neural integration making her invaluable to the research team. She embraced Lisa before boarding. "Thank you for trusting me a year ago," she whispered. "Without your courage, we would never have discovered the truth." Lisa watched as the final preparations were completed. President Morgan stood beside Elder Teza and Nara, the three leaders representing the new relationship between their worlds as the ship departed. Accelerating smoothly toward the outer system, Lisa thought about how much had changed. A single decision to trust Nara to believe there could be more to the Kilvari than cold logic had transformed both societies. Admiral Harris approached Lisa. "The Defense Council has approved your recommendation," she said. "The new joint fleet will launch next month, vessels staffed by both species protecting our shared interests." Lisa nodded. The military had finally embraced cooperation, realizing the strategic advantages of combining human adaptability with Kilvari precision. Later that evening, Lisa returned to her quarters in the cultural center. Her window overlooked Earth, the planet seeming both familiar and somehow new, as if seen through Kilvari eyes. Her communication device activated with a message from Nara. The first reports from restored Kilvari colonies showed thriving communities, art, music, and scientific discovery flourishing together. The message ended with a personal note. "Our council has approved expansion of the ambassador program. 10 more humans will join you. Training begins next month." Lisa smiled, remembering her first steps onto the Kilvari diplomatic station. The fear and uncertainty she had felt. The enormous responsibility of representing humanity. She had never imagined becoming part of something so transformative. On her desk sat a small sculpture, a gift from Elder Teza, a human and Kilvari figure intertwined forming a new shape. Together not separate, distinct yet unified. As she prepared her report for President Morgan, Lisa reflected on the journey that had brought them here. A linguist chosen for her intuitive abilities with alien communication systems had discovered that true communication went beyond words, beyond logic, beyond differences. It required courage, vulnerability, and the willingness to see beyond appearances. Outside her window, the stars beckoned, promising new discoveries, new challenges, new connections. The human-Kilvari alliance had only begun its journey, but the path ahead now held possibilities no one could have imagined before Lisa activated her report template and began to write. The greatest strength of humanity has always been our ability to adapt to find connections, where none seemed possible, to imagine new futures and make them real. In the Kilvari we have found not just allies but mirrors, reflecting parts of ourselves we had forgotten, and teachers showing us possibilities we had never considered. The universe has become larger, and so have we.